Man sagt, guter und zuverlässiger C-Band-Empfang.
People often claim that C-band reception with antennas starting from 2.4 meters is possible. Today I would like to see what C-band reception with a slightly smaller dish of only 1.8 meter looks like. Our antenna has a polar mount and is steered by a classical actuator motor. The antenna's radius goes from 68.5 degrees east to 35 degrees west. Unfortunately, we cannot receive the very attractive orbital slot at 40.5 degrees west, with several stations from South America. At analog times, it was possible to see a lot, even with smaller dishes. Most of the channels had a lot of noise, but with help of a low threshold receiver, you could make them watchable. Reception near threshold makes it imperative to use excellent gear. Our CV feed works with a mechanical polarizer, allowing precise polarization adjustments in single-degree steps. The feed is of such high quality that there is hardly any loss at KU band. Our 4 GHz LNC has a noise figure of 25 degree Kelvin, meaning it is not very new, but there's almost no difference to LNCs with only 16 degrees Kelvin noticeable. First, the antenna needs to be peaked. As you can see here, even a couple of actuator impulses to the west to east can be the deciding factor if a satellite is received or not. The example also shows that you should not turn the dish too quickly. The receiver needs some time to read the digital data stream and then determine its strength and quality. If you turn the antenna too fast, you may overlook an entire satellite. We fed our receiver the latest C-band satellite list with up-to-date information of transmission parameters from a larger antenna nearby. But only the strongest transponders are detected. A signal was detected here, but it is too weak to be identified correctly. Even when channels are scanned, that still does not mean that they can be displayed correctly. But at least here at 64 degrees east, there are no reception problems. But you can notice that channel changes take quite a long time and that there is a sure sign that the programs coming from Tanzania and Mozambique, as well as a religious station, do not have a very strong signal level. But it shows you that C-band reception with 100 centimeters can actually be fun. There's no success with 4 GHz reception from 64 degrees to 40 degrees east. We have already tried that many times before. It also showed that we thought could be received for sure did not turn out to be true at all. C-band offers programs with linear and circular polarizations. The polarizer must be adjusted accordingly. When dealing with weak signals, 1 or 2 degrees can decide upon success or failure. The satellite at 40 degrees east shows how weak channels can be. Even some of the FTA programs remain dark. Other channels on the satellite also show many artifacts. Only TV43 region is perfect. It also depends when you are checking for reception during a day. During daytime it was almost impossible to receive anything on this particular orbital position. Next is Arabsat at 30.5 degrees east on our list. Not too much going on here, even though the transmission is on high-power C-band transponders. It is also too bad that many channels are scrambled, since in that case the signal strength does not matter at all. Let's change to the better satellite position at 26 degrees east, which is more important to DTH reception. The satellite offers the rare occasion to view some analog programs. No threshold is needed, the quality excellent. Once there were more than 20 channels available, but there are only a few left now. The analog era is also here coming to an end. There was only one digital transponder that we caught. At least there were 12 channels on it. But there's hardly anything interesting at 4 GHz except for MBC1. All of them have changed to KU band, which is more convenient for DTH reception. Nonetheless, it is still interesting to watch this position because of frequent changes in transmission parameters, as well as many transponder activations and deactivations. It is well possible that we might get some new channels here quite soon. What's also important, all transponders are received perfectly. The next satellite is Intelsat, located at 1 degree west. The AFN transponder transmits several channels for the US Army. Only the Pentagon channel and the AFN program guide are free to air. All other channels are encrypted using the PowerView standard. The Pentagon channel is available, but since it is broadcast in NTSC, we cannot show it here. We go on in our travel to 5 degrees west. As we can see, there are a lot of programs available, and that's not all what this position has to offer on C-band. But signal strength is not good enough to display all channels. Tele-Guyane and RFO tempo are only recognized as unnamed. Both stations are scrambled anyway, so no need to get upset over the lack of signal. We're much more delighted about Tele Sahel, Niger's national program. It can be received perfectly like almost all other stations at 5 degrees west. But for KTN, a private station from Kenya, our dish is unfortunately too small. There are too many artifacts in the picture and it is no fun watching the channel. Many different French TV stations like Télé Réunion, Télé Guyane, Télé Mayotte and many radio stations for French overseas departments are being broadcast on a single transponder. Most of them are unfortunately scrambled. DWTV and several radio stations found their home on this satellite. This broadcast replaces the former 1 degree west C-band transmission. There are 3 stations from Gabon, RTG1 and 2 as well as RTN. They also transmit several African radio stations, among them the legendary Radio Africa #1. Libya also continuously expanded their channel lineup at 5 degrees west. Among all 8 channels, there is the international version next to the original local TV, plus several special interest channels like a sports channel. There are some Libyan radio stations as well. 5 degrees west is a living example that C-band reception can bring you exciting channels, even with small dishes. The Russian orbital position at 11 degrees west was well known since it was possible to receive the first Russian channel with dishes of only 1 meter in diameter. There's only little left of this strong satellite. Nowadays we can receive the international version of the first 2 Russian TV channels with our 180 centimeter dish near threshold. First artifacts are already visible in the picture. 22 degrees west brings us many programs in C-band that already we know from KU-band satellites like Hotbird. You will find TV5 France, France 24 in both English and French, as well as the Spanish international channel. It would be nice to have a little bit more signal strength here, as you can see there are already some artifacts in the picture.
Hier können besonders empfangsstarke Digitalreceiver durchaus zur Empfangsverbesserung beitragen.
Our EchoStar 3600 and it also controls the satellite dish, is already pretty good when it comes to weak signals. But sometimes reception can be improved with newer digital receivers featuring a more sensitive tuner like the ICOS 5512 60, as well as the identical boxes from Arion. The only thing is that these receivers cannot control an actuator or adjust a mechanical polarizer. The weakest signal comes from Telecongo from Congo-Brazzaville, which is only one of the few exclusive stations to C-band. Only 10 channels from the Arabic world are received perfectly, but we already know them from Ku-band satellites that are much easier to receive. We received mainly stations using the east beam on the satellite. Our 180 cm antenna was simply too small for the global beam. Reception of the Intelsat located at 27.5 degrees west with our small 180 cm antenna seemed impossible. But in fact we did receive some programs from Voice of America TV and several versions of VOA radio. As a bonus, you can receive the Brazilian Rede Record Internacional. All of these channels work perfectly. 31.5 degrees west is the last satellite where we got lucky and found some channels. Two government stations, RTS1 from Senegal and ORTM from Mali, have been broadcasting for years in digital format. In addition, you can listen to national radio channels from both countries. The satellite is not a real challenge for a small dish due to the satellite's high signal strength. Our small 180 cm C-band dish could successfully receive 10 4 GHz orbital locations. We have to admit that reception was not always perfect, but you should not forget that reception with 1.8 meter is the smallest dish size for digital reception in the 4 GHz band. There are only a few positions like 40.5 degrees west, which we did not test here, where it is possible to use smaller dishes. But even then, you should not go below 1.5 meter in diameter. Our test also showed that reception quality varies during the day. The best results were always during the night. During daytime, we could only receive 50% of what we could watch during the night hours. They could only be received with larger dishes. Can we recommend 1.8 meter C-band dishes? Basically yes, but don't expect too much from them.